This meeting is being recorded.
All right, well, welcome into the Three Guys Talking Ball podcast. It is episode 33, the Larry Bird edition. Today is July 28th, 2022. Football is upon us. NFL teams are opening up training camp as we speak. Some of them have already opened up. Russell Wilson showed up in his own jersey with whatever the hell type of pickup that was. It looked like he was going into war or something. Julio is now a Buck. Aaron Rodgers thinks he's Nicolas Cage. Kyler Murray is getting paid to do his job. We're going to rank some helmets of all the new helmets that have come out. We're going to talk about our vacations, and then finish up with Curveball of the Week. But all three of us are back together again. It feels like an eternity. Probably the longest I haven't seen all of our ugly mugs in one spot in one little Zoom session in once for what feels like a month. Grant didn't join us 2 weeks before. It was just Colt and I last week. Now all three of us together again. Boys, it's good to be back.
We're here. We made it.
We made it. So, like I said, we'll start with how was Grant? You were down in Oklahoma. Ethan, you were up north at one of the actual lakes in Minnesota, not one of them ponds that they call a lake.
No,
but,
we're there.
So and I was in Florida. How was your guys' trips, vacations?
It was worth it. Nice, relaxing. I mean, weather was nice. Didn't rain much. Wasn't 200 degrees. Like I'm sure Grant probably just sweated off 50 pounds while he was down in Oklahoma. But no, I mean, the lake was kind of cool too. It was actually like you could walk out about a quarter mile and it was still up to maybe to your chest at the highest. It was a super weird lake. It was just like a giant sandbar, basically. It was fun.
So what lake or where were you at? What city?
North Long Lake in Brainerd, or I guess
okay.
Yeah, between Brainerd and Nisswa.
And I can't believe that you had the video on Facebook of you getting flipped by your little brother, but saving the drink. And then being the good friend I am, call you the best athlete in your family. And nobody in your family agreed, which is absolutely ridiculous, shocking, almost offensive.
I never said my family was smart. I'll end it with that.
Do we have is Ethan Price now Ethan Rogers?
I don't.
Can we look into? Is that something we have to?
Well, I would like to join in on this conversation, having met both of Ethan's parents and hanging out with them on a few occasions. Ethan's not wrong in his assessment of the Price family. I mean, in the words of Patrick Starr, he would say, "Hey, Ethan's family, who you calling the pinhead, Ethan?"
Yeah.
But let's give Ethan some credit here. He, for the most part, is the sharpest knife in every drawer that he is in. So let's give him some credit where credit is due.
It was an impressive display of athleticism, and as a 20, you're 28, right?
20, yeah, I turned 29.
20, yeah, you got a birthday coming up, and
I do.
That was one of your that's really the only thing you have to be athletic with anymore at your age, because you're not a professional athlete, and golf you don't have to be super athletic to play.
No,
really, the only thing is if somebody tries to do a fast one on you, the most important thing is saving the drink. Don't spill the beer.
No, I mean, it was a seltzer, but yeah, same thing. You got to protect what's important.
Exactly.
And the real question is this, Ethan, you're a big seltzer guy. Was it what seltzer are we drinking? Are we drinking a high noon?
It was a Vizzy. It was
a Vizzy.
I wanted those extra antioxidants, so I went healthy.
So not only are you drinking in the summer sun up north in northern Minnesota, you're being healthy while you're doing it. You're a man of the people.
There it is.
It's kind of crazy. People need to take lessons from me.
Well, we'd have a lot more smart people out there, and people would not be walking with 2 left feet, and we could walk and chew gum. So Ethan's our guy so far tonight.
I don't know anybody that drinks seltzers though. Anybody who drinks seltzers is there's some questions there, but we'll move on to
get out of your North Dakota rock, and you'll realize the whole world is drinking seltzers, my guy.
I realize Busch Light isn't as good in your what you call them, what does he call his beer?
The Busch Lattes? Oh, the MILF waters.
No, The MILF waters.
The
Those are
MILF waters,
ultras.
the Ultra, the MILF waters.
Yeah, and they're delicious. They're low carbs. They're good for you. They taste incredible. Between that and Busch Light, I've just kind of been alternating between the two. But I will say, though, I do enjoy the high noons, which they're not seltzers. They are vodka sodas. So those are really good on a nice hot summer day. A nice little change up. But enough about that. We'll get into more of my vacation after we discuss Grant's vacation.
Well, I really wouldn't call it a vacation, guys, because
Were you working?
I was working the whole time. In terms of unloading an apartment, loading a trailer, unloading a trailer, bringing furniture back into an apartment, grabbing beds and nightstands and coffee tables. You know, the whole moving shebang. And let's not call it a vacation when, you know, two of the nights you're gone, you're sleeping on a bed that's a pull-out couch at the Holiday Inn Express. Thanks, Mom and Dad. And then, you know,
they have continental breakfast.
They had a damn good continental breakfast, so I was happy with that.
You need to quit complaining. That's what it's all about.
Holiday Inns are known for their continental breakfast. Those slap.
In all seriousness, you know, it was 105 degrees, 106 degrees down there in Oklahoma this weekend. It was hot. It wasn't that muggy, so it was a dry heat, in the words like our Arizona friends would say. But you know, you're moving. You're sitting in a car, you know, for, you know, driving hours on end. You know, you're not too comfortable. So when you hit that little pull-out couch at night, you're out in about 4 seconds.
That bar in your back is so good.
Oh yeah. And then one thing, guys, that I noticed, it's hot in Minnesota and North Dakota, you know, during the day. But when the sun goes down, it cools off to, you know, 80, 82, 83 degrees outside. In Oklahoma, that southern sun, when it's 10 o'clock, 10:30 at night, it's still 100 degrees outside. You just walk out and you just feel hot. Your Yeti coolers, the best coolers in the world, they don't stand a chance in that sun. Ice is melting left and right. Your cars are hot. The asphalt is melting around you. You know, you're in the southern Bible Belt in this country, and it's hot. But I tell you what, Tulsa was a great city. It reminded me a lot of Fargo, guys.
Okay.
A big open city. It's nice and clean. The streets are easy to get around. The people are always in a good mood. You know, I had a grand time. You know, down there these last couple of days. It was nice. You know, I had the sister go out there and you know, get her new apartment in there with Jared, and you know, start a new life there. I think she's gonna like it, and you know, I had my nice little welcome to Oklahoma picture there. I put on the Instagram and Facebook. And Ethan, I will disagree with you. That sign is better than Minnesota's.
Oh, stop it! Ours is stone. Ridiculous.
It is much better. And like, you know, my good pal Connor Watershed says, before you know it, the South is calling your name. So we'll see. But
I was just gonna ask, based off your review, I'm gonna say you're gonna move down there within a year. It sounds like you love Tulsa.
I'm starting to really dig the southern part of this country. You know, you can, you know, sure, they're like, oh yeah, June, July, and August, it's hot. Well, we'll sit inside on the air conditioning. Or if you want to go out, you do something early in the morning. Get out of this Minnesota winter where I'm stuck inside for six months out of the year. But Tulsa was a great city, and here in about 2.5 weeks, going to kick it down in Florida. So I'm even more excited for that.
Yeah, and that's actually where I was last week. I went down with the family. Went down Friday after work, and my sister, who lives in Fargo, that's why we flew out of there. She asked me to go out downtown with her because she is now 21. So, well, we haven't had a drink together yet. So go down, have a couple, take a lift back to the hotel where parents and I were staying. And oh boy, you guys, downtown Fargo has changed.
How so?
Maybe I'm just older and feel older and out of place, but it kind of reeked of weed. There were a lot more homeless people floating around, and maybe I was just so oblivious to it because I was under the influence like times like 12 when I was downtown and going downtown more frequently. But yeah, it just felt like just a weird vibe.
I never got that vibe from downtown Fargo, like you said, of the homeless people. the stench of weed. So it easily could have changed in the last 6 years. Since God, was it 5-6 years since we've all been there? But
More than that.
Yeah, we graduated in 16, so it's 22 now, so 6 years.
Yeah, 6 years. I mean, a lot can change in those 6 years, but it must be, because I always remember downtown Fargo was a great time. You could feel safe. Everybody was out having a good time. You didn't have to worry about any homeless people. There was no crime or anything like that. So that's kind of unfortunate to hear, because I thought Fargo was a great city, and it kind of sucks that it feels like that downtown. Maybe it's going the way you don't want it to see.
Yeah.
Well, you said they got rid of the pickled parrots. So that's the first mistake they made.
They did.
You're the only person I know who loved that, who loved
Great. You could gamble in the basement. Come on, get with it.
The one good thing about the pickled parrot that I will say was when it closed and you got to just scream Scotty doesn't know with everybody on the dance floor. That was a good time.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of hand gibbers I saw on that dance floor was just unbelievable.
But anyways, I'll talk.
Were they dry hand gibbers, Ethan?
I would assume so.
But so then we got up Friday or Saturday morning, went to the airport, flew, and they actually had TVs on from Fargo to Minneapolis, which was different, but it was only like a 40-minute flight. So that was nice. Get in, land, went and had lunch, kind of just hung out there, I probably read about 100 pages of the book I was reading. I finished the book.
What restaurant did you eat at?
We were at Chick-fil-A.
Oh, generic. Okay.
Yeah.
It's an airport staple, and Dylan is basic.
I am basic, and there is no Chick-fil-A where I live. I have to go 100 miles east to get Chick-fil-A. So had Chick-fil-A. It was great. And then got on the airport, flew, landed in Tampa. We're walking.
But you got on the. You mean the airplane? You were at the airport.
Yeah.
You didn't get on the airport.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And we land and get in, pick up our car. And by the time we land and are walking through the airport to where we were getting the rental car, it is pouring rain, like monsoon pouring, like you wouldn't believe. And then we actually just go and eat right away. We went to this place called Bar Taco, and it's like, if you're like 65 years and older, I would not recommend going to it, because the entire menu is on your phone. You scan your phone with like one of the barcodes or the QR codes, and it has like the whole menu, and you just enter your credit card, or in my case, my parents' credit card. And similar to Grant on 4th of July, where he had like 12 brats, I had about 12 tacos.
Let's go.
And Grant looked at his mom, said he was proud of what I'd done. I looked at my mom and said I was proud of what I've done. And
so you basically look to be Grant.
I'm competing with him at this point. Yeah. This whole marathon thing has not been training has not been much of a training, but
12 tacos isn't going to help.
No, and it was really good. The food down there was great. We mostly just hung out on the beach. We watched my dad and I, we sat at the bar on Sunday. We watched the Open Championship finish up, watched Cam Smith just go on a run. And then before that, actually, I had my first Waffle House experience.
How fantastic was
Oh
that?
my God, dude, it was incredible. And my family was skeptical of it too, because they've never heard of it. They're like, I don't know. And then we walk in, and it's just such a clean place. The service is phenomenal. You get to see them cook in front of you, and the quality of food is just delicious. They don't have a lot on their menu, which I think that's almost a sign of a good restaurant. Is the less items they have on a menu, the better quality it's going to be, because they can just focus on those.
You can focus on the one thing.
Yep, exactly. And the waffle, incredible. Over easy eggs, incredible. Bacon, toast, hash browns, awesome.
I think
so
Waffle
good.
House, dude, they have the best hash browns in America.
Oh yeah, they've got a good crunch to it. You put
can't
a
argue
little salt and pepper on it. I know Grant is crazy and doesn't believe in those types of to him nonsense. He's wrong, but it's so good. Like everything about it was just incredible. And Probably, and we ate at a lot of good places. That might have been my favorite place to eat at.
That doesn't surprise me at all, dude. Waffle House, it's so good. It's simple. You run into some of them like you guys ran into where it's clean, it's taken care of, and it's great. There's some ones in this country where you're like, whoo, that's a little scary. You know, you got a couple lights out in the front. The building is dirty. You got about 17 characters on the inside where you're like, man, are they looking at me funny? But you walk inside and the food's fantastic.
Oh, it's so good. And like we were driving up and like, cause my sister and I, we were talking, we said, telling my parents that if you really want the full Waffle House experience, you really have to almost go there at 2:00 where you get all sorts of people. And my mom goes, is it similar to a place in Dickinson like this? I'm like, yes, but on crack. And,
yes.
And they were impressed. They said they enjoyed it. So everybody came home happy. That was the one meal I got to pick the whole trip. So at least I hit it out of the park on that. And then most of the time it was just us laying out on the beach. My dad and I, we got away one morning, went and golfed at the Clearwater Country Club. It was nothing special. The layout of it was very similar to that Shamrock course we golfed last year, except there weren't as many trees. The fairways were very narrow and the ground was just so damp. Like if you didn't make good contact with the ball, you were taking out a divot of grass like the size of like that big just every time. It was great. Like, and I had rental clubs. I probably shot a generous, and I consider it a vacation 103 because I didn't count all my strokes.
How many times did you miss the ball?
I never missed any. We went at like 6:00 in the morning, so a little too early for me, but
yeah,
after that,
too much of that fresh dew out in the morning really just kills
I
me.
wish you would have missed. You just would have ate shit. You fell backwards, fell on your back. I mean, that would have just been phenomenal.
Just the Looney Tunes style.
that would have to be like 21st birthday level, Wii Fest level alcoholism for me for that to happen. But
I think Wii Fest level would kill anyone nowadays over the age of 28 or 27.
Oh, you'd be recovering for 2 weeks for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. That would just be awful.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see Dylan try it. I really do.
Go to Wii Fest? I'm too old for that now.
Come on.
Way too old now. I had my fun there. It was a good experience. I can say I've done it. I've moved on. And then most of the rest of the time consisted of us laying out on the beach. I read another book. Read the biography of Steve Prefontaine, which I don't know if either of you guys know who he is.
I've heard the name.
He was a distance runner for Oregon. He was a really good runner. He had a died when he was 24 years old. He took 4th in the 72 5,000 meters. If he was still alive in 76 in Montreal games, he probably wins that. It was just died in a car accident and unfortunate. Definitely somebody that I looked up to when I was back in my real running days, but got to read that. It was something that I've had since I was like a sophomore in high school. So I was finally able to read that, just laying out, had some more drinks, just chilling. And it was just nice, relaxing, not a worry in the world. And it was like the Zach Brown Toast song. So you can't beat that, and got to hang out with family and just a overall really good, fun vacation.
Not bad.
So that's
Sounds
all.
like you guys knocked it in the park.
We did. We got to hang out with family, ate great food, relaxed, got some golf. That's like an ideal vacation for me.
Can't beat it.
Nope. And then, so we'll move over. Enough of our vacation talk. We'll move over. And then it was reported earlier this week that Kyler Murray, the quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals, signed a 5-year, $230.5 million extension. And you knew that was coming at some point. It was going into I believe this is his 4th year already. He's improved every year. He's made strides. They made the playoffs last year. I think his body gets worn down because he just runs a little bit too much. But that's the state of the NFL right now. You need that quarterback, that franchise guy to take you to the next level. I have questions. I don't know how far he's going to take him. I think he really needs to learn to take care of his body. And this part is just the most telling part for me that gives me no confidence that this is going to be a successful contract is that they put an incentive in for him putting in 4 extra hours of independent film study.
That wasn't an incentive. It was a clause.
Or it was yes, clause. Thank you.
A clause. You need to do.
And I kind of understand why the Cardinals put that in there, because he said in an article last year, I believe in the New York Times, we're saying that he's been lucky that he just sees the game so much clearer, so much better, that he doesn't need all that extra film study. He can rely on his instincts. But that playoff game showed, and when push comes to shove, and if you want to go farther in the NFL season as the playoffs go on, the NFL, as much as the game has evolved, the game is still a 3rd and 8 drop back pass league, and the quarterback who's going to deliver those throws usually is the one that's going to end up winning it. And I don't see that changing at all, and I don't see Kyler Murray doing that, because if you have to put in a clause to put in 4 extra hours to study, that's where you're going to make your meat and potatoes. That's where you're going to convert that. It's you knowing what teams are doing, even when when the game's on the line. And if you don't want to put in the extra work, you're not gonna go far in the playoffs.
I was never really a big Kyler fan from the beginning, but then there was the playoff game where he was just absolutely, like, that was probably maybe not the worst, but one of the worst in the past 2 decades, playoff games for a starting quarterback. Like, that was absolutely abysmal. And then how do you give him, what was it, $230 million?
Yep.
Like, he hasn't really, outside of his, like, he has like 3rd all time through 2 seasons of passing yards or whatever, but that hasn't gotten him anywhere. It hasn't done anything for him. I mean, he had decent people around him. He had a good defense. Like, I just don't see how you can give up that much cash for a guy that hasn't really proven anything.
Well, and guys, it's the same Arizona Cardinals team every single year. They start out hot, and then come mid-November, they take a nosedive because teams figure them out. Kyler and Cliff, they can't adjust. Their defense under Vance Joseph gets worn out because their offense is off the field all the time. Kyler's just proven that he's going to start out hot. He's going to be the MVP in the month of September, but then he's just going to nosedive every single year. And we've seen this with him when push comes to shove, even back in Oklahoma. He didn't show up against Alabama in that playoff game until the second half, when they were already down by 28 points. That regular season game against Texas, he didn't show up until the 4th quarter when they were down by 13 points. When you need Kyler the most, he's not that guy, which again is just probably going to get them only 3rd in the NFC West, behind the Niners and the Rams. So I just don't trust the Cardinals. Kingsbury, Murray, it's going to be a failure. Steve Keim's going to lose his job soon because of this bad contract. Kyler he seems like he just wanted to get paid. He can tell Oakland, hey, guess what? Tell the Athletics, I'm making more money than your whole team is this year. Look at me. I got the bag. I'll move on. Life is good.
Well, and that's the thing with Kyler too. That's been a knock on him, is he isn't a very team first player. Like when Budda Baker got hurt last year, he was the only person that didn't go over and give him some words of encouragement, where the entire Cardinals team, the contract again. And that's been something that they've said about him at Oklahoma, at Texas A&M. And probably one of the most alerting signs was when he was on that Dan Patrick show and he didn't want to talk at all, and his dad did most of the talking for him. And the other part too of it is for him to be successful and for the style of game he plays, is he needs to get his body used to running around for 18 weeks and train like that so he doesn't get tired, because I think that's part of the reason why he falls off, is he doesn't know how to just get out of bounds or get down to avoid those hits. And the other part is the offense they play is an air raid, which they don't like running the ball. And you still need to be able to run the ball and have consistent running game because there's just no toughness within that team. There's not. When things go tough, they fall flat on their face and they fold.
Well, and I think Kyler also needs to adapt the way he plays too.
Yep.
He needs, when he's out of the pocket, instead of trying to run, for a little 3-yard gain, and you're getting that little push out of bounds, where then you run into your bench and you take those small blows throughout the day, just throw it away. If that 2-yard carry is not going to change anything. If it's 3rd and 8 or 3rd and 10 with the Cardinals with his legs, that's not going to change anything. And then also, Dylan, like your point you brought up, his dad is not a good role model. He seems to be someone who didn't have the athletic career that he wanted. So he's going to use his son to piggyback and, try to get into the limelight there. And he's probably telling Kyler how to train, how to play, go get your money while you can, son. This just seems like a father who's going to run his son into the ground. And potentially in 3 to 4 years, we're going to forget about Kyler, kind of like RG3. He's going to take a couple of blows in this league. He's going to get injured. I mean, these linebackers and safeties are getting faster and somehow stronger every single year. And when you're outside of that pocket, you're not protected anymore. He's going to take one shot to the chest and then one to the jaw, and he's going to be done.
Yeah. Well, and you talking about how him running around and getting the 3 yards instead of just throwing it away, it takes me back to the Michael Lombardi stories about Al Davis. You're going to run all around like that for 3 yards? Why? Just throw it away. Why?
Yeah.
but
also,
go ahead.
Also, in his defense, they didn't have D-Hop last year for the second half of the season. And they were still hanging around possibly to win the NFC West last year. So if D-Hop can stay healthy,
he's also going to be out the first 10 games, I believe.
Or
two, because
that's right.
8 or 10 because of the PEDs.
The PEDs. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. Oh, so there goes the Cardinals season. They'll start off 4-4, and they won't be able to rebound from that.
No. But did you guys see Russell Wilson show up in his own jersey with like an armored truck thing? I don't know what that looked like.
I saw the jersey. I didn't notice the car or anything.
It was the big thing right behind him when he was walking. But who shows up wearing their own jersey?
A narcissist who just cares about getting paid.
He's Mr. Unlimited.
He's really changed since he's met Sierra. She has made him turn for the worst.
I think some of him is authentic. I think he is that cheesy dad guy that he probably has the best dad jokes in the locker room.
Oh, for sure.
But the Broncos, after seeing him show up in his own jersey, the Broncos are going to go 6-11 this year. Grant's going to be dancing on that pickup.
It's going to be great because it's going to be classic Russell Wilson, classic Denver. Jerry Jeudy's going to get hurt. He's going to miss 6 games. Cortland Sutton's going to be out for the whole year. They'll have a good running game, but one of their backs is going to get hurt. They'll fumble timely against the Chiefs. We'll pick it up and return it to the house, and they're going to fall apart November, December. It's going to be delicious, and I can't wait for this free fall.
And then the Raiders win the division. It's going to be absolutely.
Oh my God! Stop it with that absolute nonsense. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've talked some smack about Derek Carr in my life, but he's backed it up, especially with what he did last year after the whole Gruden thing. But it's crazy. They're still the 4th best team in that division, but it's not fair because that division is stupid this year. The Raiders would probably be favorites in 2 of the 4 divisions in the AFC had they not be in the AFC West.
Yeah, I would put them as favorites in the South, and then
the South and the East.
In the East. Well, no, Bills. I think it's still the.
Sorry, the North. I think they can compete with the Bengals because I don't know.
Which.
Fair.
And then did you guys see Aaron Rodgers' outfit showing up to camp?
That was.
I'm on the opposite end. I thought it was great. I loved it.
I laughed. I just hate the guy, so I don't like it. It's as simple as that.
I mean,
all he needed was him ripping a cig. He could be smoking Aaron instead of smoking Jay.
It was just fantastic. But did you guys see today? Aaron, he's the king of being petty. He was in an interview, and last week they asked Devontae Adams, "What's it like going from Aaron Rodgers to Derek Carr?" And he goes, "Well, there's not much of a difference going from one Hall of Fame quarterback to another Hall of Fame quarterback." Well, Aaron, being Mr. Petty himself, today they go, "Aaron, how's it going to feel to not have Devontae, when you're throwing the ball to him this year?" And he goes, "Well, there's not a whole lot difference when you go from a Hall of Famer and Adams to a Hall of Famer and Alan Lazard. It was nice to have him back."
If he's a Hall of Famer, then my fantasy team will be doing well. So.
Yes, but it was the funny joke where Aaron was just like, "I'm not going to compare Alan Lazard to you, and don't compare Derek Carr to me, because we're not the same person."
Well, that would make sense, because our three guys talking about Twitter page tweeted out that after they saw his outfit, tweeted out, "When you realize that Alan Lazard is your best receiver."
But the Nick Cage outfit, the Con Air, the long hair, the little bit of the chest hair, the wife beater on, it was perfect. Aaron, is he smug? Is he arrogant? Do I dislike him 99% of the time? Absolutely. But him as a character, he's just a hoot. He's just a funny guy, and I need more of this.
You guys talk about changing the optics of the way people view you. Aaron Rodgers going on Pat McAfee every Tuesday. He seems like I know, Ethan, you're not a fan of him, but he seems like a guy that I could chill and hang out with and have like a 4-hour conversation talking about anything.
Oh, yeah. He's pretty damn good at golf.
Yeah.
He did one putt. Let's be real.
No, he carried Tommy that day.
He did. He carried him for Tom to end his season again in the playoffs.
Exactly.
Which will stay in the Bucs. Julio Jones has signed with the Bucs. I think this is
the dude's dead.
I think what they want, they basically are using him as a holdover until Godwin gets back, because he's probably going to miss 8 to 10 games. Is he really?
Yeah, he's back.
He only tore his ACL. He didn't break a bone. With the way these athletes recover, you tear your ACL in December, you can be back in July.
Yeah. Well,
I think it was an ACL and MCL.
Well, and the thing is with Julio, who's really probably only good for about 10 games a year, and the Bucs still have a loaded receiving core between Evans, Godwin. They just signed Rudolph, Tyler Johnson. Yeah, exactly.
Russell Gage,
Scotty Miller. And if you can basically treat him like an Antonio Brown, who's going to be he'll be less of a headache for sure than Antonio Brown. You can get a good 8 to 10 games out of him, and he's a big time playoff performer. So Tom, and in game push comes to shove time, Tom is going to trust him. So it's just another weapon. Play him 8 to 10 games, keep him healthy for the playoffs, and I think he could be a contributor.
Well, yeah, and these last two signings by the Bucs, where whether it be Rudolph and Julio, you're getting these guys, like you said, Dylan, for 8 to 10 games. But then also, it's a red zone threat you don't have with Gronk, because Rudolph's not not going to catch a lot of balls this year, but he's going to have 6 to 8 touchdowns by just Tom throwing up rebounds, and he's going to be back in his Cincinnati high school days getting these boards. And
or his NFC wild card 2019 in the Superdome.
Yeah, exactly. And then same thing with Julio. He's going to get you on a deep in route on a 3rd and 14 when you need it. And then guess what? When they double cover Mike Evans in the red zone, I'm going to throw up a 50-50 ball to Julio. And your point, Dylan, when he showed up in the playoffs, let's not forget he made that catch against the Patriots that should have ended that game with the toe tap on the sideline. The Falcons are in field goal range, and it just went pear-shaped for them after that. And then he did his best the next year against the Eagles to try to catch that pass, but the Eagles knew the rule and they pushed him out of bounds. So he's a guy, 8 to 10 games, but playoff rush. When I need a jump ball, there's hardly anyone else in the NFL I want to go up and get this rebound besides Julio Jones.
No, exactly. And the 8 to 10 games, perfect. And we'll see what happens. If they're able to stay healthy, they're probably going to be the favorite out of the NFC. So we'll move over. And as the training camp goes underway, there's been more and more teams who are releasing their second helmet since the NFL has allowed it this year. And I don't know if you guys have your rankings. I ranked mine. So we can go off mine. We'll start from 13 to 1. Oh wow, look at that. And
I
I
see.
don't have all of them, but I got my top 3.
okay.
See, I kind of set mine up different, boys. They have 2 new sets of helmets this year. Teams' new alternate helmets that I found, and then also teams bringing back their throwback helmets.
Yes.
So I kind of got two separate lists there.
Okay. Well, and I just ranked mine 13 to 1 because I think that's all that's announced at this point. Right?
I think it's technically 14 because your team, Dylan, has a throwback and then an alternate. It's really similar.
I've only seen the throwback. I haven't seen an alternate one yet.
It's like their normal helmet, but essentially just take the silver away and have it be white.
Oh, huh.
It looks pretty clean, actually.
Okay.
From the picture that I saw.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I'll start at 13. And this team, it makes sense, but they completely screwed this up. And this is why they are 13. It's the Philadelphia Eagles. They went with a black helmet. It makes no sense. They have one of the sweetest old school throwback ones, the Kelly green with the gray feathers.
The midnight green.
They had that in the back pocket. They wore it back in 2010, and then they just decide not to. They screw it up. But what do you expect from the Eagles?
Well, and did you see they also changed their font for their like main logo this year when it says Eagles across the chest? Instead of having it be in that arch, it's more like vertical and just straight across. It looks just awful. I mean, whoever came up with this in Philadelphia totally just botched this.
Well, it looks like the Cowboys will be the first team to go win this division in back-to-back years for the first time in 20 years then. I like this. So then at 12, I just have a bias that I think this team has the worst uniforms in the NFL. And I'm going to go with number 12, the Arizona Cardinals. Just the all-black helmet. It just doesn't really do anything. And their uniforms are the worst in the NFL. They need to go back to their old ones that they wore when they were first founded. Just the plain red with the striped pants. There's just too much going on, especially their white one where it's like red on the top. Just not good.
Red down the sides, like by your obliques down to your hips and on the thigh. Yeah, you're right. It's not.
They just don't give themselves many options for different combinations because it's just such awkward colors. Because it's not really red; it's like an off, like almost like a mix of maroon and red.
Yeah.
And then number 11, I have the Bears. They look too much like pumpkins. They're such a traditional.
Like a silver or something, they would have been sick, or like a gray.
They just do the throwbacks. I think they've got such a iconic like logo. They've just been in the league forever. Yeah,
blue and the orange.
Like go back to a throwback. Do the white C gray face mask, and that's really all they need to do. I don't see the point of orange, and then they're going orange.
I think
it would be okay if they went with the blue jersey, white pants, orange helmet. I think that would be okay, but they're going orange helmet, orange jersey, white pants.
Everything. Yeah.
What they should do is just like you said, Dylan. They have such a classic uniform. Keep the white pants, the blue jerseys, the blue helmet, but do what the Chiefs did against the Vikings in 19 and last year against the Chargers. The gray face mask.
Yep.
Just keep it simple. Keep it clean. You have a great uniform. No need to mess this up, which they clearly did.
Then I have at number 10 the Texans. This is actually their, according to Hooked on Helmets, which is a great follow on TikTok. I recommend anybody who listens to go check that site out. He does a phenomenal job. I always enjoy it. He does a good backstory of how each team got their helmets. Really cool. And this is actually the first time the Texans will have a different helmet than their original one when they came into the league back in 2002. I don't hate it. I don't love it. they'll look a lot very very Christmassy to me. It's just basically the same helmet, just red. So
Well, and they'll wear it with their red jerseys.
and it's too much of a shiny red, I think. I'd prefer more of like a matte red. The shiny just isn't just doesn't do it for me anymore. And then number 9, the Washington Commandos. It's a black helmet, and they don't have any black in their color scheme. I don't understand teams' obsession with black or doing colors that aren't in their color scheme. It just makes no sense to me. It drives me insane.
Like the
College
Arizona.
teams, yes. Well, they have their black outline, but still,
But
it's not
that
enough.
jersey-
Not enough
it's
to emphasize it.
It's not good.
And yeah, and it's Washington. Who cares? Then at number 8, the Jets. Traditionalist in me, I think they should have went with the white, the gray face mask again, and the black. I think it'll actually look pretty cool, but I would have liked to see them go back to their white. But I feel like they've worn those helmets for so long. I think they wanted something different. But that's the Jets. It's okay. It's not the worst one. I think it's ranked appropriately. Number 7, I have the Panthers. They went with a black. I think this one was a long time coming. I think I wouldn't have hated it if that's what they originally were, but this is pretty much also their second different helmet since they've come into the league. They've kept pretty much the original from when it started. And I think their black, white, black look would look really sweet. Or they have like a Carolina blue pants, don't they too? I think a black, white.
They have
Carolina
the Carolina blue. Yes, they do. Because there was a couple of games, when Cam danced on your Cowboys in 15 there, where there's the classic silver helmet,
Color rush.
Carolina blue. Yeah, and those were sexy.
Yep.
Those were sexy.
And then another team that at 6 that I think was a long time overcoming, and they actually wore these back in the 70s with the New Orleans, the Saints. They went with a black helmet. I think that'll look pretty clean. Something different with, I think, a black, white, and then the silver pant or gold pants. I think that's a nice look, or black, white, black, or all black. So number 6 and number 5, I have the Cowboys. It's their old traditional Thanksgiving look with the white helmet, the blue star, their original helmet that they wore back in the 60s when they were founded. I always love when they wear those jerseys on Thanksgiving Day. I have them at 5. And 5 through 2 were really interchangeable, I think. And number 4, I have the Patriots. It's that classic old school look, 1970s, 80s. The white, the old Patriot pat, the hands on his hips. Just that nice look. Their only red jersey they have, their color patterns just match really well together. And then number 3, the Atlanta Falcons, they went with their throwback. And they stayed within the color scheme, which is big for me. I love their red helmets and the red, the black, the silver pants. Just an incredible look. Number 2, and I think this is the look the Giants should go with all the time, is the Giants, the writing instead of the NY, and then the dark blue helmet. And they've worn it a couple of times for their color rush. Their white jerseys, I think, might be my favorite. That might be the best Giants look they have.
Yeah, when they go blue, white, white.
Yep. And then number 1, and this is an undisputed. There's if anybody argues that this isn't number 1, their opinion is irrelevant and they should be kicked out of the country. It's the Super Bowl runner-up, the Cincinnati Bengals, the white Bengal, all white, just so clean, so good look, so awesome. Just another long time coming, and they finally were able to do it. I'm glad they pulled it off.
Well, I just did a top 3. So, I mean, you went way above and beyond here. But you can call me irrelevant if you want. We both know that's false. But the Bengals I have at number 3. I think they're cool. I think the all white's going to look insane on the field. It's going to look pretty badass. Number 2. Okay, Mr. Chiefs fan. Take a seat. But Then number 2, Falcons. I love the red. And I think it's going to look really badass. Just with a black jersey, white pants, something like that. I think it'd be cool. Number 1 is the Patriots. I've always loved that logo. I think it's just super old school, but it goes really, really well, like Dylan said, with the actual red uniforms they wear with it. Just looks super sick.
No, yeah, guys, I'm with you. Like I said, I found 2 pictures this weekend on the NFL's Facebook page. You know, 4 of the throwback helmets, 10 of the new alternate ones. And again, number 1 on each list, I'll start with the throwbacks, was that Patriots, that white helmet with, you know, the guy in a 3-point stance, snapping the ball. Whenever I see those, I think of that game against Tennessee in the snow.
Yep.
It's New England. It's blustery. It's snowy. You can't see 3 feet in front of you. You see that bright red uniform, those white pants, that white helmet. There's something just clean and just sexy about that look. I love these throwback uniforms. They might be my favorite uniform in the league. I wish they'd almost go back to them on a permanent basis. You know, their new helmets and jerseys are cool, but I'm a fan of those. And then I'm with Ethan on the Falcons. That red helmet is it's something to watch. It's sexy. The old logo, it's simple. It you know, with the Falcon wing right there, I can't beat it. And then the Giants, number 3, like Dylan said, it's almost got that dark blue Giants logo sticker on there. It's just perfect. And on the throwback ones, I had the Cowboys at 4. Maybe it's just because I'm not a Cowboys fan, but I don't know. Maybe it's just because those other 3 are just so awesome that I couldn't get enough of. It couldn't do it for me. But with that alternate one, you know, guys, for me, this list doesn't matter because it's Cincinnati all the way. With that white helmet, the white stripes, the new white jerseys they have, the white pants they're going to wear, it's going to be just awesome to see. And I almost kind of wish that would be like their permanent home uniforms, kind of like how Dallas wears the white. The Dolphins the Dolphins don't do it as much anymore, but
When it's hot,
that Bengals white is just going to be absolutely sexy. And, you know, I'm different. I like the Texans red. I think it's it's different. It's a good change of pace. You know, I liked it when it came out. It's going to match. I think it's going to go good with their uniforms and something different than that blue. And
I think their like a white jersey, blue pant, it'd look really, really good with.
Oh, that would be.
yeah.
And then, you know, kind of the rest of them, it's really no order to make because they're all the same black helmet. I mean, it's a good look for some teams, but I feel like most teams are trying too hard. You know, with the black helmet, it just doesn't look good. But the worst one of that I had was the Washington Commanders. I mean, it's the black helmet with a W on the top of their helmet, right on the forehead. It just looks silly, and it proves Dan Snyder's a fool. And anything he puts his hands on just doesn't make any sense.
Look at shitty Alabama helmet.
Was that?
Look at shitty Alabama helmet. You got the number on one side, the W on the other. It just looks like shit.
Yeah, it's dumb. I mean, they had a classic clean color scheme before. They botched the name with the Commanders. I thought they should have been the Red Wolves to keep their color scheme, but it's just what Washington does. They mess things up, and you know, this didn't like that alternate helmet at all.
No. Have the Vikings haven't announced one, have they? No.
No, not yet.
No. Credit to them because they've kind of had that same look the whole time. I've seen people say they need a black look, and it's shut it down. No, John Taffer, shut it down. Keep it tradition. I mean, maybe a yellow, but even then, I think it would
be yellow. But man, that'd be really loud.
It'd be too tacky.
No on the yellow for the Vikings. Again, keep it just maybe with a gray face mask like they had in the 60s.
Yep.
With the purple people eaters. Your white pants, your purple top, purple helmet, gray face mask. Keep it clean. You know, keep it traditional. What the organization was at its peak. Just keep it simple.
Well, I saw people saying they need a new jersey, and I like their jersey. It's one of the better jerseys I think in the NFL.
It's better than the last ones they had. They
Yes.
upgraded from their last
I
couple
think a
uniforms.
cool Vikings helmet would actually be not just the horns, but like an actual Viking.
Maybe
Kind of like the midfield logo.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool. Just something different like that. It doesn't have to be the horns.
True.
Yeah. I think if they do anything to it, that's what it should be. Is there any that you guys want to see that's some potential that you think would be teams that could have a good?
I think
Good.
the Chargers could have a really sick one with their color scheme.
Well, they already do. That's my. They have really good ones. They don't need to
do.
screw with it.
They do, but I think they could come up with something super cool.
I think
Dolphins, they're teal.
yeah, the teal.
scheme.
I mean the Chiefs have a great helmet, great uniform. I will admit it. The Raiders, that's a fantastic
Really
uniform.
cool, yeah.
Whenever the Chiefs and Raiders play in Arrowhead, that's the #1 uniform game of the year. Red helmet, red jersey, white pants, the socks the Chiefs wear, the Raiders wearing the silver, the white, the silver. That's the best uniform game of the year, in my opinion.
The only
And maybe
thing I
I'm
could
biased,
maybe
but that game is it's hard to beat that uniform matchup.
maybe the Raiders with a black helmet. I think that could have some potential, but
No, it's no.
Raiders
It's
with the-
Raiders. They're the Raiders. Stick to it. Keep the silver helmet. Don't mess with the good thing.
If there's a team that could pull it off, it would be the Raiders for an all black.
yeah, exactly.
for
That's
sure.
what Neil. That's what I'm saying is like
Yeah, it'd be
I think-
disgusting.
it sure as hell be better than the Cardinals. It'd be better than the Commanders, Jets,
Go
Panthers.
all black and play at Green Bay. Just go absolutely fuck Aaron Rodgers. Fucking hero.
There, and then I can't really think of any other teams that could, but
No.
I mean,
Jacksonville tried. They already effed it up.
Yeah, Jacksonville. They
Anything-
do want better.
anything Jacksonville touches turns to shit.
You know,
Mhm.
low key guys, the Colts with that white and their blue. It's simple, but it gets the job.
They wore those blue helmets way back when. At that one,
Yeah,
and then they have the double horseshoe on the back side of it.
Yeah, the horseshoes,
Yep.
That one's not horrible.
Just bring back the one bar, please. Just one kicker. Bring back the one bar helmet.
I'd love it.
Yeah,
Oh,
that'd be
that would be-
incredible. I'd buy his jersey.
Mm-hmm.
That and then, well, if Tennessee wanted to go back to the Oilers, like the ones that they when the
Yeah.
Titans played the Patriots with the Carolina blue and the Oiler on it in that snow
that's
game,
cool.
I would be a fan of that, but I doubt it because they aren't.
The Oilers are in Texas.
Yeah.
But still,
Well,
it'd
they
be cool,
were the Tennessee Oilers their first year in Tennessee when they were.
Yeah, so they
really?
could go to that, but I think Bud Adams that's the owner for the Titans, right? Or the late
Yeah.
Bud Adams.
Mhm.
He had such a disdain for the city of Houston. I don't think they'll ever wear those again.
No.
He's dead. He can roll over in his grave. Do something cool.
But yeah, that's all we got for helmets. As the weeks approach, we'll be doing some previews for college conferences and then NFL. And I start coaching. We have our first practice next Thursday. I got our roster. We got 38 kids out 7th through 8th grade, so I'm pretty excited about that.
When do you think you're going to quit after the first practice with you?
None.
Hmm.
None. Our first practice is the easiest practice of the year. Our two easiest practices are the first one and the last one. The first practice is we go through, teach them how to do warm-ups, and then they run a 40 and a 3-cone drill, and then we go hand out gear and condition them a little bit.
Nice.
So, no, none of them will quit after the first day. So we'll move over to Curveball of the Week, and Grant wasn't able to answer it the last time, and even I'll let you go over what
Yeah.
it was.
All right, Grant. So, would you rather date someone that has chronic bad breath or chronic body odor? And there's a second part here. There's a second part. And how many dates in is it appropriate to fart in front of them?
Oh man, alive. Holy shit! This, no pun intended there, but this is a sticky, musty, smelly situation.
So basically, do you want to be Dylan or do you want to be Grant? I mean, you choose here.
I don't know. I'm not having fun much being Grant, but can't see Dylan being much better.
Oh, it's way better being me.
So the whole chronic bad breath or body odor, that's a tough one because both are hard pills to swallow. But for some reason, you get around anyone with a bunch of BO, I can't do it.
You almost start smelling it.
You that's all you do. That's all you can think about. And it seems like as soon as you start thinking about that person, you get a whiff of what their stench is. And then also that it just consumes you. You know, you get in the same room with them, you could be 20 feet away, but you're just thinking about that bad body odor. So as awful as it'd be to date with someone with bad breath, I'd have to choose that over the body odor because the body odor is just awful. It's like, take a shower.
Yeah.
we live in a world. We live in a world with plumbing. It's not that hard.
All right, now the second answer. How many dates in can you fart in front of them?
Oh, that's a sticky situation. Because one, you don't know what it could be. It could be one of those, silent killer ones where it's just like it clears a savannah. Like in The Lion King. or it could be just that.
It could be the Dumb and Dumber where they get the laxative.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, this toilet's broken.
I guess I don't that's a tough one. I don't know. I'd say like I don't know, maybe 7, 8. That's what I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go anywhere between 7 and 8 dates.
Okay.
Because at that point, then you're really comfortable with each other. And we're all adults here. We realize that things happen. But you're kind of at that point where it's like, hey, you know what? I could really get used to hanging out with this person. I like it. I like them. So I'll say 7 and 8.
I'll get the other side of it. I'll ask Hannah tomorrow. See what she says.
Oh, perfect. Let me know. Let me know what that answer.
Want to find this out? Okay, and then now it's my turn since it's my time, my shot for Curveball of the week. And last week was episode 32, and it was just Colt and I. And if you haven't listened to it, I encourage you guys to go check it out because it's a really good listen, good interview, good conversation. But since it's 32, and that was my number, it's one of the best numbers there is the best number.
It's
and
tainted now.
You guys have to say 5 good things about me and my awesomeness. And you just alternate back and forth.
Ridiculous. I'm gonna leave. This is dumb.
So this isn't a curveball. This is a honey roast for Dylan.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
And you can get one roast of me on.
Stupidity. There's one. There's the first one.
What's that? What was it?
Your stupidity. There's the first one. That's what I'm grateful for.
No, it's not what you're thankful for about me. And I'm definitely the smartest one here. So
hold on. What am I supposed to say again?
you got to say 5 nice things about me. It's not that hard.
Oh,
that's a nice thing to say. I didn't say you're dumb. I said you're stupid. That's a total difference.
Well, since Ethan's an asshole, I'll go off here. But I can't believe we're making this about Dylan. This is ridiculous.
Well, it's episode 32. When we get to your guys' favorite number, we can do.
We're well past that, bud.
Well, I didn't know your favorite number, so.
Well, obviously you don't know me well enough. You need to figure this out. You're obviously not a good enough friend.
I guess not. So we'll have to do it next. We'll figure a time out to get it right, get it done.
Apparently, I thought Aaron Rodgers was petty, but Ethan is just taking that claim as the pettiest
both
person
know
I know.
I am petty as ever.
I knew you were petty, but I didn't know you could be this petty about something about Dylan. You're making it about you, which is fantastic, by the way. This is why we love you. But no. So if we could give Dylan one nice compliment, it's this: he is one passionate son of a bitch.
Yeah, he is. That's fair.
He finds something that he likes, and he is going to bring that into the grave with him someday. Like it could be that helmet TikTok account, Michigan, his love for Tom Brady's work ethic and Michael Jordan. The dude finds something he likes, and he's going to stick to it. and that is who he is.
All right, Dylan, one thing I like about you is your hate for the Yankees as well. That's another one.
Thank you.
That is a positive. He's got a pretty strong head on his shoulders when it comes to outside world beliefs. I'm not going to lean which way he goes, but Dylan knows he's pretty smart. Some would call him a true American, and that's fantastic.
Just need that
another
American
one?
flag behind me.
Yeah.
You are smart because you have a company car, so you don't pay for gas. So that's good. Nice job.
True.
Ooh.
I
And I
really hard.
got this last one here. You know what? You got to give the dude. He can travel and get. It seems like get as much time off and does a lot of fun stuff, more than anyone else I know. Whether it's you're going to Florida, hanging out with some dudes, going to Deadwood for the weekend, coming here to the Twin Cities, the guy knows how to have a good time. Whether it's a wedding where he's meeting friends in Canada he's never met before, or just hanging out in Dickinson,
or hanging out in Iowa City with a MILF.
Which is the best story of all time.
We're not going to share that story.
Parking lot number 49. That's all I'm going to say. It was a fantastic day, and then Saquon Barkley broke my heart.
You're right.
But the guy just knows how to. The guy knows how to have a good time.
I was just gonna say he's one of the very few people I've ever seen that almost beat Iowa City.
Exactly.
Almost.
Still here.
Your 7 Yag bombs or tequila shots you bought at 1:50 a.m.
There was no tequila shots. That's for sure.
I think they were all Yag bombs.
They had to have been because I don't do tequila shots.
Yeah, you got it. That was just fantastic.
Gosh.
It was fun at the time. About 7 hours later, it was a different story. So
you wake up and you see that email from Capital One. Well, the best part was waking up from that Capital One. Did you spend $112 at 158? Did I spend? Yes, Dylan, you did. What happened? Yeah, the Guardian. Well, I bought 8 Yag bombs, and the 6 people we're with didn't want to have them. So Grant and Dylan had to split them.
Who voluntarily takes a Yag bomb shot?
Apparently, Dylan does. And Iowa City. Same with Grant.
Yeah, because they were of course, Grant did. They were free. You didn't have to pay for them.
Exactly. I'm not stupid.
It's still not worth it.
Oh, I'll take Yag bomb over tequila any day of the week.
Oh yeah, same dude.
No.
Tequila belongs in the garbage. Same with wine.
Do we need to do another married fuck kill here soon?
Not a chance.
Well, I got to go actually to the bar and get a drink, so I'll catch you guys later.
All right. Well, with Ethan, we will also be ending the show. Thank you guys for listening. We'll talk to you next week.